Time now for some of the biggest trending stories you'll want to know today. Blake Lively breaks her silence on the Ends With Us drama. Plus, Prince Harry making big waves in a new interview. Such a fascinating interview, too. We're bringing in our NewsNation entertainment expert to break down all these headlines. Paula Froelich is here with the scoop. Hello, friend.
Hello.
You and I were talking about this off camera. Blake Lively made her first appearance on Seth Meyers. She had a lot to say. Break it down.
She basically said, you know, it's been a very intense year, a lot of very big highs and very big lows. She's kind of announcing her return to public life. You know, she had the Time 100 gala, and it's interesting to see because a lot of people are not here for it. You know, a lot of people are just kind of like, that's great that you're getting back to real life. However, what about Justin Baldoni, who has no life and no cash? So, you know, it'll be interesting. You know what else also goes out in the coming weeks are the subpoenas to the A-listers.
Is that coming up?
Oh, that's coming up.
Okay.
It's going to be Taylor Swift, Hugh Jackman, and people who Brian Friedman, Justin's lawyer, want to depose in August. So that'll be really interesting. And we'll see how it goes because, you know, while I did report that Blake and Taylor are talking again, I think Taylor really does not want to be drawn into this. She's kind of done. And Travis doesn't want to be drawn into this. And he's unfollowed Ryan Reynolds on Instagram because he's kind of like, yeah, you know what? My lady is having a minute. We're trying to just kind of hang out, and I don't want any part of this.
And
so
you know this better than me. Taylor's PR is so curated around her. Her team must be going insane with the subpoena.
Yes and no. I think her team is just kind of like, you know what? Taylor had no idea.
Okay.
Blake called her over to the house, said, hey, come by. I've got the director. Oh my gosh, did you read the script? And she was like, yeah, I loved it. And what seemed like a strong arm to Justin for Taylor was like, I was just dropping by because she told me to be there
at this time.
At this time, and I'm not late.
All right.
So, you know.
Let's move on to another story you follow very closely. The Royals, Prince Harry losing a court battle in the UK. He wanted his security reinstated. That did not happen. What did happen? Oh,
this is kind of a big one. So Harry wanted to have his cake and eat it too. The court said absolutely not. It makes sense for our taxpayers not to pay for your security when you are not a working royal. Harry is very upset, and as we know, he likes to lash out a bit. So he lost, and he immediately called the BBC and had them do an interview at his home.
He called the BBC?
Yes.
Interesting.
So they go in, they had this interview, and what's really fascinating about it is he not only said that his father is not talking to him, which I have told our audience before, also because, you know, it doesn't look good when your son is suing your government. But, you know, it's just kind of like he still blames his father. He's saying there's a lot of things that he learned that are unsaid. Now, listen to this. This is kind of a veiled threat. And this goes back to the point of me saying I think he's going to write another book. He said, I don't want history to repeat itself. He's talking about Princess Diana's death. But through the disclosure process, I've discovered that some people do want history to repeat itself, which is pretty dark. This is a threat.
Yeah.
I am not going to share that at this point. I know all the names of the people that were involved in this process. So the two things we need to understand right here is, number one, I'm not going to share at this point, which means he most likely will share at some point. But he's also saying, and he's come out quite vociferously, basically saying, it's the people surrounding King Charles and people in the royal household. And he knows all their names and he wants to say this. He also said, and this is insane, that his family is working with foreign governments to keep him without protection, end quote. I thought with all the disagreements and all the chaos that's happening, the one thing I could rely on is my family keeping me safe. And not only did they decide to remove my security, but they also signaled to every single government around the world not to protect us, and I call baloney on that.
Right.
But God bless, that's what he thinks, and that's most likely what he's going to share in the upcoming years.
And possibly a book.
Yes, and you know what? God bless. It's not going to make his family relations any easier.
Paula Froelich, thank you. Be sure to subscribe to the Scoop newsletter for the biggest stories in entertainment.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.